Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Coach K's Corner. Today I want to talk about data collection. Data collection is such an important aspect of our jobs. Sometimes with data collection, we just don't even know where to start. And the first thing that you need to do, tip number one, look at your students' IEP goals and decide what is the best way for you to take data on each goal. So some goals will be academic, some goals will be social emotional, some goals will be adaptive behavior related. So you need to focus on all of those different goals and figure out how you want to take data on each goal, because you won't collect data the same for every single IEP goal. Tip number two, create data sheets for all of your students and their IEP goals. I love to create data sheets for my students' goals. For each student, I make a list of their IEP goals, and underneath their IEP goals, I either create some type of chart or some type of way I'll collect the data. The biggest thing here is to make your data collection really easy and effortless for you and your staff. If you sit down to collect data with a student and you don't already have your materials and your data collection sheets ready at hand, it's gonna make that process so much harder. When we sit down to collect data, you want it to be easy and efficient. For example, within your data sheets, it's really great if you use pluses or minuses. So yes, they did this, no, they did not. Checks and X's, yes, they did it for a check, no, they did not for an X. Or even if you have to collect how many prompts it takes, just a simple tally mark system is really easy for you to jot down as you're taking data in real time. I find that when I make data collection sheets easy for me and my staff, it just makes the whole process so much smoother. Tip number three, if you are struggling on trying to figure out where to even start with data collection, good rule of thumb is just start with some baseline data. So baseline data just shows us what the student can do right then and there for that data opportunity. Baseline data could be even data that you collected in the student's IEP. For example, if you're working on sight words, if you gave a student a list of 20 sight words and you put that assessment into the IEP, then you could use that initial assessment as some baseline data. You can take baseline data at the start of every new school year, at the start of every new IEP, and just even your first data collection point. It doesn't have to necessarily be labeled as baseline data, but that first data collection point that you take is super important and can be really helpful in seeing the progress of your student. Tip number four, make sure you're working on IEP goals consistently and taking data consistently. One really important thing, make sure you're collecting the correct number of opportunities as written in the IEP goal. So for example, if an IEP goal says 4 out of 5 opportunities, then I'm going to take data on that goal 5 times during that quarter or during that specific reporting period to make sure I meet that criteria of that IEP goal. Tip number 5, make sure you find a data collection system that works really well for you. This may take a little bit of trial and error, and that's completely okay. Honestly, for data collection, I personally use a variety of different systems. So the first one that I use is called a data day. A data collection day is one day out of the week where you and your staff collect data on your students' IEP goals. In addition to the data day, I also do a progress monitoring day, which is known as quiz day to my students. This typically happens on the last day of the week for me. Even if it's a shortened week, I'll still do whatever that last day of the week is. For example, if my students are working on an IEP goal that involves answering reading comprehension WH questions, then we will read a story that week. We will practice throughout the week answering WH questions based on the story that we read. We'll read the story multiple times. We'll have multiple exposures to the story. And then on the last day of the week, I will give them a quiz and collect data on how they've answered those WH questions. After taking the data on that last day of the week, I'm able to then monitor what I've taken and then tweak, change, or maybe adjust teaching for the next week of school. And then the last system that I use is I will take data during certain class periods. So for example, during my life skills class, after we finished our daily lesson, I will either pull students one-on-one or I'll pull a small group of students that may have similar IEP goals, and I'll work with them on those IEP goals and collect data during that time. Of course, these are not the only systems you can use. I'm sure there's a wide variety of systems out there that you can use. These are the 3 things that I've found that have been very helpful for me to use in my classroom. And the 6th tip that I want to share with you is this is based more on the progress of IEP goals and not necessarily the data collection. I used to feel like I wasn't doing a good enough job as a teacher when students weren't making the progress that I originally anticipated, which is totally okay if they're making progress at their own pace. You want to just make sure you're reviewing that data regularly and making sure you're tweaking, adjusting, or repeating the teaching that you're doing for certain skills in order to continue that progress, no matter how fast or slow it may be. I hope you found these tips helpful. They've really helped me. Please comment down below any tips that you have for data collection, and I'll see you in the next video.